Hello, everybody. Welcome back to Horror Trans. I am Stephanie Bree. I'm a transgender woman, and I talk about all things horror. And I apologize. I haven't shaved in a few days because I'm out of razor blades, and I'm trying to get some more. But forgive me. I'll be back to my usual self here soon. Today, we're talking about a slasher classic called Pieces. So this one is one of those movies that the very first time I watched it, I was enamored. This is a movie that will have you glued to the TV screen the whole time. So it starts out, you got this little boy who's putting together a puzzle, and it's a nudie puzzle, and his mom comes in and flips out because he's looking at a naked chick, and she's like, that's bad, you can't do that, and she beats his ass. And he turns around and takes an axe and just chops her to fucking pieces. Literally, it's called Pieces. And then he grows up and starts killing again in the future. In the present day, but it takes place in the past and then in the present day. So, I'm going to say this movie is gory as fuck. This is one of the goriest movies I've ever seen. You get decapitations, you get dismemberments, you get guttings, you get a woman chopped in half with a chainsaw. I mean, this movie delivers the gore. I wouldn't rate it as too terribly scary, but it is, it's a typical slasher, so it's atmospheric. It's got some really iconic scenes. If you've ever watched any YouTube videos, like Dead Me or the Horror Geek or anything like that, they use clips from this movie a lot. So this movie is very iconic. So you probably will recognize some of the clips as you're watching this movie. You'll be like, "Oh, this is the movie that clip is from." So it's a pretty good movie. This is definitely a buy. I highly recommend this movie. Now, it's a little disjointed in the fact that they just shot some random scenes to pad it out. So there's some random shit that has nothing to do with anything just thrown in the middle of it. And some of it is, I'll say, a little problematic. You got racial stereotypes that are kind of offensive. But it is the 80s, so, you expect that from a slasher movie back in the 80s. And it is very misogynistic, very sexist. The guy is cutting up women, and he's cutting off different parts from different women, and he's sewing them together in this zombie woman, basically. So he takes a head from one body, he takes a torso from another body, the arms from another body, the lower body from another one, and he just stitches them all together. Now, this is your typical slasher, so it's one of those murder mysteries as well. You're trying to figure out who the killer is, and it's a little obvious, I thought, who the killer is, but some people might not think it was that obvious. It just depends on how good your sleuthing skills are. I wasn't surprised by the killer. I actually was expecting it to be the person who it ended up being, and it was. So, there's that. But it's a good movie. It's a cheesy movie. It's a B movie for sure. It's got really terrible acting, but it's fun. This is what you're looking for in a slasher. So if you haven't seen Pieces yet, definitely head over to the streaming world and check it out. Stay cool.